The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences only, so don't tell your parents! Listener discretion is advised.
Why are we recording now?
Because I never know when we're going to start, so I do it preemptively.
We're gonna talk for like 6 hours and then we're gonna record, like always.
I sure hope not.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, a proud member of the Geekly Grind Podcast Network.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Paint Club podcast. My name is JD, and joining me is Kyle. It's Kyle. The boys are back, here to do the show, and we are talking about a movie that I had never really heard of until Kyle was like, hey, yo, check this out. And, man, it is a bizarre little movie. So, we are talking about a movie called Chuck Steele, Night of the Trampires. Kyle, I didn't really know what to expect when you sent this to me, and, man, I'm just gonna say surprised. I'm not sure if it's pleasantly surprised just yet, but it's definitely interesting.
Well, so I seen this movie like advertised on Instagram or something from the studio, and I saw it, just the trailer. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I had been looking just to somehow get my hands on it for years, and I finally got my hands on it, and then like 2 days later it released in America.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, this is the studio's first movie, and what's the studio?
I think, was it called Animortal or something like that?
Yeah, Animortal. So it's the studio's first movie, and I think it's really interesting because the guy behind it, he wrote it, designed the characters, and voices Chuck Steele as well.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Everything almost. And he directed the movie as well, so
Damn.
that guy is amazing.
Yeah, so yeah, the plot of this movie is just so fucking bizarre, but I do actually want to give a lot of credit to the stop motion animation in this, which, like, it is so weirdly fluid a lot of the time that, like, I stopped to question at times if it was actually CG and not like stop motion.
Well, that's the thing is it looks so good. It looks better than most of the mainstream studios. I've never seen claymation look that amazing. Or stop motion.
Yeah. And all that like really like well done skill and talent used for this kind of movie, which it just feels so unabashedly like it does not give a fuck what you think about it. It is so just so vulgar and brash, and like it just does not give a fuck. It's gonna do its fucked up plot, and you're just kind of there for it.
But that's what's amazing about it, because a lot of the adult animation these days rely too much on either sex or drugs or any combination of anything, sex, drugs, violence. And this is just, even though there's a lot of it there, it doesn't make its personality on that.
Mm-hmm.
It just, there's a lot more to it. Because the best example would be that movie To Hell and Back, where they go, oh, this movie's really offensive, but the characters just go fart, oh, poop, and stuff like that. And it's just, it's more childish.
Mm-hmm.
It's very obnoxious and childish, and this actually feels like a real good adult movie. And mixing horror and comedy is a really great way of doing it as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, this movie is basically a big send-up parody to like 80s action cop movies. So, you know, you're like your Lethal Weapons, your Die Hards, your what have you from back in the day. You know, Chuck Steele is a cop living on the edge. He's got a police chief on his ass all the time. Always going through a different partner every 5 minutes.
I love that. It's such a funny joke throughout
Like,
the movie.
I just like he kills the partner that he's given at the beginning of the movie, and he's given it like these other options for what partners he's gonna get next, and they're all like horrible, and he just keeps working his way down the list. And the fucking funniest running joke I found in this movie is just every time he gets a new partner, he gives them the same exact speech. It's like, look, I don't know what you think, but it's not because I don't hate you because you're so and so, but it's because I work alone. And this whole fucking stupid speech he gives to every single one of them, especially the plant.
This is the best part at the end of the movie where he's laying down on the side of the street with the plant. And he's like, "I don't like you, and you don't like me."
Passes out.
So funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's like it's just this stupid, goofy ass 80s cop parody, but it's also like dealing with like supernatural shit because it turns out that there's this ancient like sect of vampires that somehow somehow learn to subside on the blood of drunk people.
Well, they got kicked out of their house. They got like chased out of their houses, and they became hobos.
Yeah, so they became Trampires, but like the British vampire Trampire hunter that teams up with Chuck in the movie is like, well, we call them Trampires, but I know you probably call them bums in America, but bumpires doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, God, it's such a great movie.
It's just so, there's so many like good, it like any good 80s cop movie, it's good, it has good one-liners, and like there's so many fucking one-liners. It's like almost like 80% one-liners with Chuck's dialogue, and most of it's pretty fucking great.
Yeah, I was telling you before, but the funniest line in the movie, the lady, the psychiatrist for the cops say, "Hey, you're always living on the brink." And he's like, "I love living on the brink. I'm thinking about getting a house there. It's a little farther from the edge, but I can commute." And that's like the best line in the whole movie.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I like that he's such a serious character in just like this really funny cartoony world. Because everyone around him is such a character, but he's like the most grounded character. But he's so extreme in that aspect that it also makes it funny. 'Cause his whole thing, the first people he take down, the drug addicts in the car, where he hijacks the tanker truck and parks it in the middle, and it's just a giant sequence of a car chase.
Yeah,
It's so fucking great.
yeah, and like even the action set pieces in this are pretty like well done. Just like all the shootouts and car chases and fighting the fucking undead supernatural creatures. Like it's all very well put together.
Just works so wonderfully. It's got a great story. It's got great animation and the writing, the jokes and everything. It's all a home run hit for me.
Yeah, like, and it's got a lot of like, I mean, Chuck aside, like, who is just a boiled down synthesized version of every 80s action hero, but just like fucking love his relationship with the police chief who was constantly on his ass, but like he fucking hates him, and every time they stop a conversation, like Chuck gives him the option of being hit in the face or in the balls, and every time he chooses the opposite one because of some reason. It's like, yes, I'm starting to get an aneurysm. My wife's starting to wonder why my balls are so bruised up.
I like, it's such a great pun for a name, but the chief's name is Jack Shit.
And then it comes in so great at the end. He's like, he doesn't know jack shit. Well, he's about to. The lizard man.
Yeah, I just think the whole last part, there's this whole last fight scene with a bunch of clowns and everything at the end of the movie, and it's so fucking funny because it's like over the top violence and gore, but then they play like clown honking and like slipping sound effects, like really cartoony sound effects, and it's so fucking funny. I need to watch this movie again.
I just watched it earlier today, and it's like, God damn, what the fuck did I just watch?
I read that the studio's gonna make another movie, but I can't find any confirmation on that.
I mean, so this movie, I guess, like came out like in 2018, and it was like, I think mostly just pushed around to festivals and stuff. But you were saying like it just got its like wide release recently.
It just came out on DVD maybe a couple months back for the UK, and I was trying to get a copy of it. I couldn't find it, and then now it just released on streaming. So like you can either buy a digital copy or just stream it. So it's something at least.
Jeremy Snow here, owner and editor-in-chief of The Geekly Grind. I'm interrupting your awesome, regularly scheduled programming to ensure that you know about our Geekly Grind podcast network, of which this show is a treasured member of. If you haven't had a chance to check out our site, you can do so at www.thegeeklygrind.com, and while you're there, check out the other members of our steadily growing podcast family, including the anime-centric Blake and Spencer Get Jumped, discovering new heroes and comic book keepers with Chris and Lance, exploring the vast universe of geekdom with Geeksploration, or of course appreciating animation's finer details with the Ink and Paint Club. Escape your weekly grind at The Geekly Grind.
I was looking at these this company and just see if they've done anything else. Yeah, I was on their YouTube page earlier today. It was like final trailer released like 3 months ago, and I'm like, this movie came out like in 2018.
Yeah.
I did end up watching the other short, the short they did before the movie with Chuck, where he's fighting out the convicts in the warehouse with the
I need
sex
to watch
robot.
that. I did not see that. I'm gonna have to watch that. That sounds amazing.
That's like a 15-minute short on their YouTube page. It's just more of that, but I think it was done before the movie, probably as like a test or something. But
it says right,
sorry, go ahead.
It says right here, stop motion was shot at 24 frames a second instead of the standard 12. That explains why it's so fluid.
Yeah. So speaking of, I don't know if you got the same same vibe or anything, but like the character design in this really feels like you know who Will Vinton is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I just drew one of his characters. I love his work.
Yeah. So I don't know if you felt the same, but like I felt like a lot of the Will Vinton-ish character designs.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why, but and I do thought it was funny towards the end of the movie, like as a battle cry, Chuck just yells out Harryhausen.
Yeah.
For no real reason. He just does. Yeah, obviously Ray Harryhausen, old stop motion guy. It's like a legend or something, but no, I mean clearly the team that put this together like really like knows what they're doing and really like has a lot of passion for you know the art of stop motion, which is very much a dying art.
That's why I like it, because they set out to make the movie they wanted, and they did it. They did it like completely. It's amazing, and it's not something that the studio put a bunch of fingers into it and all that kind of stuff. I like it. That it's so pure in that sense. Got a lot of respect for them.
Oh no, yeah, for sure.
I really hope that their studio makes a lot more stuff, but it's so fucking timely that it's probably gonna be like 2026 before another movie comes out or something.
Yeah, I guess it would really depend if this does like semi financially well. I don't know how much they spent on making this.
It says 20 million was their budget, but it doesn't say like what they got. I know it was played in theaters in the UK, but like 20 million for a stop motion movie, it seems pretty small.
Oh yeah, that's like for any movie these days, 20 million is nothing. So to make something this like well animated for that little of a thing, and I obviously I think they're a pretty small team to begin with, but no, it's really impressive what they were able to do.
I want to see Paranorman. Let's see.
Paranorman had to be at least like 80 to 100.
Paranorman was 60 million for the budget, so yeah, they did it for like a third Paranorman. That's pretty good.
And I will say that I will not say that this movie will be everybody's cup of tea. Just because it is so fucking bizarre. I mean, there's literally a scene where Chuck and the I forget the old guy that like teams up with them during the thing. Literally, in order to lure out the Trampires, they have like this entire sequence where they just go get shit-faced.
Yeah.
Pissing in a back alley or something.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The funny thing is, the doctor's name is Dr. Alex Kular, and it's so fucking obvious, and I didn't catch it, and I feel like such an asshole for not doing that.
Yeah. So I don't. So I don't know why this like fucking made me die when it happened. Is so like Chuck gets rescued from the Trampires by the local like homeless community basically, and they have like a fucking prophecy scrawled on a wall, basically saying that like Chuck's the chosen one, except they actually messed it up. And it turns out it's this weird dude with like a goofy ass superhero suit that you would only have seen in the background towards the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, he was getting arrested in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, like off to the side, you can barely even notice him. But yeah, he comes up and he's like, "Hey, we brought the actual chosen one." I don't think he actually does anything.
No, he gets shot in the head. So the guy that you were just talking about, the Van Helsing kind of guy, his name's Van Rental.
That's right.
It's just every character's name is like a pun, and it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's such a great movie.
Because he loses his first partner because like he couldn't handle it. He shot himself on the head on the way here.
Yeah.
He would get him killed. He killed himself. Oh man. Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of fun watching. I can appreciate it from craft alone, but I did get a good handful of laughs out of this because it's just so fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
But
I am a humor connoisseur, and it takes a lot for me to laugh, but I was laughing the whole movie.
Which I was very shocked when you were like, I enjoyed it immensely. I'm like, really?
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to get me to laugh. Just seen it all, and something like this, it was fresh. That's what was so good about it.
Which is it's weird to say because a lot of it is just parody of tropes we've seen 100 times, but put together in such a way that makes it really funny and entertaining.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to see what's down the pipeline for this studio.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in checking out anything that they put out in the future, especially if it's this kind of level of this level of animation.
Especially if it's the character too, because they kind of they hinted at a sequel.
It's such a stupid fucking hook at the end, dude. Like, so I've heard of werewolves, yeah? Well, what about werewolf prostitutes? Or you can call them werewolves.
That reminded me of the Grindhouse movie. It was Wolfwoman of the SS.
God. Yeah, I could I almost don't want them to make it like Chuck Steele fights the supernatural, just like that's every single movie. I thought that teaser they did was just a kind of a funny joke. I don't actually want to see Chuck Steele fight werewolf prostitutes because I feel like they'd be treading too much on the same territory. But I'm sure they can figure out other things to do with this character.
I would be 100% fine if that's what they chose to do, but maybe not a third movie of doing it.
Right. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So hopefully, I think that's one of the things everybody talks about adult animation. You get your Sausage Party, you get your different movies like this, and they're fucking awful. And it's more juvenile than adult in that sense, but this really felt like a good adult movie. That's what gets me excited about it.
Yeah, it's just like it's as goofy and juvenile as a traditional kids movie is, except there's just swearing and blood.
Yeah. Exactly.
excessive.
So yeah, I can't recommend this movie enough. I don't think there's much to say about it though.
Yeah, I mean, I was pleasant. I guess I can finally say yes. I was surprised by this movie. If you're just in the mood for some really goofy ass action and just stupid parody stuff, and you just need a good laugh for something just ridiculous, I think this would hit the spot pretty well.
Balls to the wall, over the top, crazy nonsense, and it's the best.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it any better. So if that sounds like that'd be up your alley. I mean, definitely. Like Kyle said, it's out. It should be out on streaming on the. I don't know what services it's on. Probably Amazon, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's out now, so buy it. Support these
Yeah.
guys.
I think we need to support stop motion, especially if it's done well.
Especially by a small studio that doesn't have Nike funding.
Yeah, there's no sponsorships, and as if there was, it's all British sponsorship that I don't know of. Well, Kyle, thank you for recommending us taking a look at this movie. It was definitely something I wouldn't have sought out myself, but hey, it all worked out. So good job.
Yeah.
But everyone else, definitely go check out this movie if that sounds like it's something you'd be interested in. Like we said, support independent, small time stop motion animators. It's a good cause to get behind.
And if Anna Mortal is listening to us, please think of your American friends. We want to support you guys. It took a long time to find this movie.
Kyle messaged me. He's like, I've been trying to find this movie for 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But I think that'll do it for this week, guys. Thank you all for listening. Stay safe out there, and we'll catch you again next time.
See ya.
Thanks for listening. You can find all the links to our social media pages in the episode description. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and join our Discord. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. The Ink and Paint Club is happy to be part of the Geekly Grind Podcast Network. We'll see you next time.